Okay, so in this session, I'm going to show you how to work with the VRP, vehicle routing problem. So let me get rid of what's already there, and I'll start from where I've provided you some of the data set. So let me get to this, and yeah. Okay, let me just make sure. Yeah, so okay, this is where my download folder is, the folder that I'm going to be using for demonstration to you. So this is how it looks like currently. I have a bunch of map documents saved here, and then on top of that I have this inputs, derived inputs, and things like that. This one is for the edges, wherein I had combined everything into the same folder. So now let's look at the file that I've created for you guys. So I'm going to start downloading this one. This is the network that you need. Okay, so let's start downloading. So it starts downloading. It looks something like this. So it's downloading here. This is where I'm going to put this. So within GIS, I'm going to put that folder somewhere in derived inputs or in inputs folder. Okay, I'm going to put this in derived inputs. That's my preference. So let's wait till the download is finished. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of time, it seems like. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and then I'll come back when it's done downloading. Okay. Okay, so now that it has downloaded, I'm going to show you how it looks like. So first thing is I'm going to extract it. And after extracting it, I'm going to cut this. I'll leave the zip file alone so that if I need it again, I can start from this point onwards. Within GIS, inputs, derived inputs, I'm going to paste it there. So at this point in time, where's my, okay, so this is where I was. I don't need this for now. I already have it opened. I don't need this for now. So if I see here in the inputs, derived inputs, it already shows the network GDB, right? So this is a geodatabase format. It's supposed to be a little more efficient. So in the new version, they're trying to force it that way. So I've already built the network for you. So I'm going to bring this to, just for a safe side, I'm going to ask it to build it again. Okay. Environment, nothing there. And then ask it to run. Okay. So done, view details, no complaints in terms of messages and so on. So all good. And it did put in, so why is it trying to? Okay. So that part is done. After this, I want to come back to catalog. I'm going to bring this back here. So that's what it had already automatically added. I just wanted to confirm. Why? Because I don't trust it. And therefore, I can remove this one and uncheck this one. Otherwise, it's going to try to print it and take too long. Okay. Also, one other thing that I do want to do next is go to analysis, go to network analysis, and make sure that it's pointing to the right folder, which is network.gvp. The reason I deliberately misspell is so then I know that this is not a system generated network. The word network, NETWORK. So this is not a system reserved thing, something that's software generated automatically, trying to be smarter than me. So I deliberately misspell it, that it is the right folder that I created for a specific purpose. Okay. So then I'll choose vehicle routing problem. It's going to complain about this, which means that there is no mode of network right now. So at this point, I'm going to go to properties. And the reason I'm deliberately going through with this is because this is exactly most likely how it's going to behave in your, when you download on your end. So there are things that it remembers. There are things that it doesn't remember, no matter how I export and share the file. So in terms of spatial, USGS is fine. Now, one thing to remember is because the spatial reference is USGS, things that it's going to generate are going to be the metric system. For example, linear unitary is going to be the meters. Automatically, whatever you'll ask, so those things are determined by that. So then the next thing is in travel attribute. It's going to say that it does not have any travel modes. So I'm going to say create one new. And the moment I'll say, it'll bring all the other things that I've already created in the network. Things for your information is that length is in meters and in miles. I've calculated in separate columns that can be used as per requirement. And just as an additional criteria, I've also calculated impedance. Impedance is like cost of travel. So cost of travel can be in terms of distance or in terms of time. So when it says time 35, that means I've divided the distance divided by 35 miles an hour. Okay, so then I get the time calculated in terms of either hours or in minutes, whatever the case may be. Okay, so in terms of cost, everything is already pre-filled. It refers to the columns that I'm using for M minutes and so on. This is the time traveled in minutes at the assumed rate of 35 miles an hour. Okay, so this is calculated. Then for most of the part, you should be using distance because there's no assumption being made there. In terms of time, when I'm using the time 35 hours, there's an assumption that the traveling speed is 35, okay? But I've created only in case somebody wants to use it for their project, then I have something already built in that I can help you with, okay? Now, in terms of length, that's all we need. Travel modes, make sure that you create new and then all of everything else the software should understand, okay? Okay, let's hit okay. So then next time when we come back and say, I want to use vehicle routing problem thing module, then it should not complain, okay? Okay, so the moment it is done complaining, it'll create things without complaining, then you'll have order depots and routes. And the moment you'll have those things selected is, if you notice here, right now it says appearance network and those things like that, or anything on, let's say, a simple shape file, then it goes away, right? But the moment I'll click on this VRP problem 2, why problem 2? Because the first one I already deleted, so therefore it's keeping the sequence number counting. Now, the moment you select this, you'll have this additional tab there, VRP and the network. So this is where you can give it the parameter for the analysis, okay? Now, the three things that you need to do for the purpose of this class is to understand orders, depots, and routes, okay? There are other more things that are used by, let's say, anywhere from city planning, wherein you have the control over what kind of roads are traveled, can be traveled, including the sidewalks, and what are the things that are out of approach or red areas, certain areas that are flooded, certain areas that can be under constructions. But for the purpose of this class, I'll get straight to the point, the things that you need to know. So let's say in this case, oops, sorry. So we are talking about orders. Nope, not here. I want to start with depots, orders, and joining these two is going to be routes. Routes are working on the basis of the network. Network are every small segment that tells the computer what the cost of travel is going to be. This I've already provided, okay? Let's say this is, we don't need to worry about, okay? So we don't need to worry about this. In terms of depot, it'll have certain properties as to start time, end time, in terms of date and time. And then it can be the same as starting depot, can be same, like for starting and ending, they can both be same or they might be different, okay? In terms of order, they will have, let's say, if we are talking about a restaurant, they might have, let's say they need 20 kegs of beer, okay? Then from depot, they should have more than 20 kegs available to be shipped out. So if there are more orders, then whatever the number of orders is times their individual requirement. So let's say order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to call these OI, okay? Now, from depot to the orders, these orders will also have their individual start time. For example, a restaurant opens up at 10 a.m. Okay, some restaurants might open up at 11 a.m. Some restaurant might open up at 5 p.m. Some might open at 5:30 p.m. Okay. Now, anytime you are asking the route, like which is a truck route, to go from depot to orders, this guy should already open before delivering to all the orders. Otherwise, the computer will say, well, this is not available right now. In terms of route, think of this in terms of Tim 1, Tom 2, let's say Haley 3. These are the driver names. These will have a capacity in terms of what is the loading. So let's say if this is a truck, then it'll have some capacity in terms of what it can carry at any single point in time. Let's say this is 200, okay? So if this capacity is more than the orders, then it'll visit all the orders, provided that they're open when they're supposed to be delivered. Then it'll keep on visiting, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 orders until it runs out of this order and comes back to the depot, whatever you've specified in terms of ending depot, okay? So these will have their own properties in terms of what their carrying capacity is. And in addition to the carrying capacity, there's also an option for picking up something back up, okay? And that will also count towards the overall capacity. And then the next thing would be number of orders to visit. Number of orders to visit is, even if they have capacity, they should go to no more than 5 or 10 or 15. If you limit that, then this truck will come back to the depot, okay? So with this knowledge, now I need some starting point, okay? Any starting point before I can get with them. So let's say this is how it looks like. So let me, oops. Okay. Where is save? Okay, so in terms of orders, so I've selected orders. So I'll go to the VRP and I'll say import orders. Now I want any point that I want to consider as the starting depot or the end depot or both, okay? So I'm gonna pick up Monterey City Hall just for demonstration purpose, okay? Now within this, now before I get there, let me show you what Monterey City Hall looks like in the background, okay? So where's Monterey City Hall? Here, Monterey City Hall. So it has something called a point ID, full name, and things like that, and that's it. There's not a whole lot. So if there were to be more than one starting and end depot, I will use something that makes my life a little easier in terms of sorting it by. So that's the privilege that it is providing me when I say import orders, and by choosing the file of Monterey City Hall, and it says field name, I'm going to say full name. So this is what it's going to use in terms of identifying from, in terms of origin destination. So because otherwise it'll start naming it by itself, something random as depot 1 or point 1 or point 2 here. So this, I want it to pick up the name from the field of full name, which we already saw Montreal City Hall, right? Default value, I have nothing to do, and then snap to network. This is optional, but it's up to your choice. As of now, there's no reason because the network is pretty dense enough. Otherwise, sometimes if the starting point is away from the road, which means, let's say if it is 50 yards away from the road, the nearest road, then the network will stay confused because there is no place where it can get onto the road. Okay, so that at that point in time, we will say assume anything within 5,000 meters closest to the road, as if the truck is starting from the road. That's where it'll start. Otherwise, it'll say there's no road to travel on. Okay, so at this point, unless it complains, let me know. This should be okay. Then hit apply. If it does or does not complain, it should not complain. Now within the orders, if I right click, so let me close the Montreal City Hall here and right click on orders and attribute table, you'll see the properties. Okay, properties as in, again, now the depot is now named as Montreal City Hall, the way I asked it to pick up the name from. Description, you can, not required. Then I'll start to fill in all these conditions that you see, all the variables that I can play with. What is the starting time? What's the maximum ending time? How much violation? Violation is, yes, let's say a soft constraint that is allowed to go over, but it will keep calculating as to how much is it going over. Inbound, when it should arrive, when it should come back, how much can it deliver? There are multiple things, let's say, simultaneously that can deliver. Let's say if you have multiple commodities and so on. Where do you get all of this information? Well, you can, where's the help thing? It doesn't give a help thing. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna say ArcGIS Pro, something like this, VRP, and you'll see it'll give you the detailed things as to what those things mean and like that. Okay, so now in addition to orders, now I also want to pull in the depots. For the depots, I'm going to bring in all the school districts that are within the Montreal County. Okay, now again, this is for demonstration. You can do this for all the school districts in Montreal and surrounding areas. You know, if so, I've already selected this and exported this as a separate file. So that's what I'm going to use for the demonstration purpose. You can use any destination as in the sense, where's my Word document? Destination, you can use any orders or destinations that are within your network. When I say if my network coverage area is Montreal and surrounding counties, so as long as your point destinations are within that, you can bring them in as a depot. Oh, sorry, orders. Did I mess it up? Yes, I did. Of course, I did. So I did this wrong. Okay, so let me delete this. So my depot is supposed to be the Montreal City Hall. What am I thinking? Yeah, so oops, again, I'm doing the same thing. So this is in different order. So first I want to import depots, okay? So this is Montreal City Hall and full name. Okay. Okay, so that's where my depot goes. So that's my starting point. Yeah. Yep, that's my starting point. Okay. And then for the orders, I want all the school districts that are within the Montreal County. Oh, there. Import orders. And where's my there's school sites Montreal only. There, more district sites Montreal only. Okay. And oops, I want to know what field name I should be choosing. So I'm guessing. No, I can't guess. District names. Yeah, I think that's the one. I should have opened. Let me open up the properties again. So depots is fine. Orders, yeah, there's nothing. So get this in order. Depots and then orders. So Monterey districts only. Districts only. So the field that I think I can use for name is, yeah, district NA. I was right, but I wasn't confident about it. There's nothing else. Yeah. So district NA is useful to me. So I'm going to go back and click on the orders, which is currently empty. I'm going to say import orders and district sites Monterey only, and field name it should pick up from district NA. And is there a sorting thing? I think there should have been sort field there. So I'm going to sort this based on district NA only, so then I can look it from top to down when the results come up, not a big deal, but it helps. Okay, so now you see all these bubbles. Let me refresh this and open it again, attribute table. Okay, there. So I have the name of all the school districts that were there, a total of 26, right? So let me check again. Districts Monterey only. If I was to look at them, then I have 25. So why does it have one more? Let me double check. In the orders, it must have brought in Monterey City Hall, I guess. It didn't forget it. It doesn't look like. Soledad, San Antonio. Is there any duplicate? I don't see any duplicate. Okay, cool. Oh, it's because it didn't start from 0. The other one started from 0 and 1. This thing, for some reason, started from 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why I have 26 here. But if you look on the left side here, there are only 25 points. Yeah, it's all good there. Now, the next thing I do want to do is I want to create some routes. So import routes. Okay. Again, I want to import something in the name of, if I had the list of name of the drivers and so on, but being lazy, and I'm going to teach you how to survive with being lazy. So I'm going to pick up the same stops, okay, or any point file. You can pick up the school districts, or you can pick up something else. So let's say, where's Monterey School? No, Monterey City Hall that I picked. Did I export CSUMB as a point? Would have been helpful at this time. Monterey City Hall. Let's say full name. Okay. And at this time, if I say, and it's okay. So now I have the depots, the orders, and the routes. So you have the basic necessities done in terms of the software, okay? Now, what I do need is, I need to set the parameters that make sense to us, and it makes definitely sense to the software, otherwise it's going to complain. Okay, so first thing, this is a big, again, I may sound old, but you can change this. So I'm going to change this to Tommy driver, and not just driver. I want to name this something so then the software doesn't think that it's a USB driver or something. Now, starting depot name. I'm going to bring this starting depot name from where? depot. I'm going to slowly click here, Control C, go to the routes, and I'm going to paste this and also say that end depot is also the same. Okay. This is oversimplification. So I want the truck to start and end at Monterey City Hall. That is being driven by Tommy. Okay. Starting time, I'll get there. End depot service time, earlier start time. So you see this is currently as 1899. So this is a default date. So I'm going to change this to today. And then say this is, I want the route to start after the depot is open. So I'm working with the routes right now. So I'm going to say earliest start time is 8 a.m. And I'm going to copy that and paste it and say this is PM. If you don't know what you should be typing, then use the help that you get here from the calendar, okay? Now, this is the least the software needs. Arrival, depart, delay. I don't need anything. Now the truck's carrying capacity that I'm gonna say is, let's say 100 cartons of whatever, lettuce or strawberry, 100 cartons of it can carry. And then fixed cost, at this point, you have the ability, you have the privilege, but I'll say nothing. Cost per unit time is 1, but I'm going to say cost per unit distance is 1. And cost per unit time, I'm going to change this to 2. So then these two numbers are not the same. Cost per unit distance, keeping as $1 or 1 means for every 1 mile, it's going to cost me $1. Okay. Overtime start time. This is good to have information, but not necessary for you to start the analysis. Maximum order count, this is the number of restaurants, or sorry, in this case, the school districts it's going to visit, the same one single truck, okay? I'm going to put this to 10. So it should not go more than 10 school districts at a time, okay? Even though we only have 25 school districts, right? So maximum total time, this is the total driving time for the driver. So this is useful when you have to deal with the legal limits, when you're planning the routes for the driver in the real life. Max total travel time, this is from start to finish. Max total distance, assignment rule, this is nothing for now. Okay, order count, we'll let it calculate. Order count, yep. Okay, so at this point, that's all where that's where I'll leave for the routes, okay? So we've given it the properties for the routes, yeah? Capacity pick, these kind of things. Now, now let's talk about the depots. So description, starting point, and because I don't trust it, I'm gonna deliberately misspell it. Time window start. I'm gonna well first post this and hit tab. So after I pasted what I have already copied, I'm going to make this start early. So instead of 8 a.m., I'm going to say 5 a.m. Okay. I'm just going with the maximum window or, something. Okay. And then this, I'm going to keep this as 11:59. Come on, don't mess with me. PM. Okay, so that's the time window start and end. So this is the time when the depot is going to be open. So the warehouse where the truck starts, this thing opens at 5 a.m. in the morning and stays open until 11:59 in the evening. Okay, I don't need this right now. And then curb approach. Well, you have the ability to start this on left side of the vehicle, right side of the vehicle, and so on. But we are not going to get that accurate. Why? Because our limiting factor is the network. I've tried to make the network that is really super easy to do and gets you started on the logistics side, not trying to make you a GIS technician, but I'm trying to get you logistics manager, okay? Now, in terms of order, description, you can say this as equals to name, but it's not required. Service time is the amount of time that every time a truck visits LSL Union, maybe it's all messed up and there's too many gating requirements and the dock is weird and things like that. It might take anywhere between 2 minutes to 20 minutes, but that is the time for delivery, for the time it takes for the driver to complete the delivery. I'm gonna make the simplest assumption just to just to get you guys started. I'm gonna put this as 2, okay, for all of them. Let me see if I have calculate field. I do. Come on, okay, get your act together. Service time equals to 2. I'm gonna fill that number up. So every visit, driver spends at least 2 minutes to make the delivery. Now, time window start as to when the school is going to be open and when it's going to shut down. So the truck can only make a delivery if the truck makes the visit to this school, in this case, LSL Union, somewhere between, let me paste this again if I still have this. So let's say the school opens up at 9 a.m. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this and slowly put this in all of them. Okay, so I slowly double click, it lets me bring the cursor in, then I hit enter. So that's what I'm doing. And then slowly double click, and then the moment I see the cursor, I do Control V, hit enter, Control V and enter. In this case, the reason the software has the ability to throw tantrums is that this has to be an exact format the way it is expecting. If you deviate from that, it's going to take you for a ride. Okay, so sometimes the patience helps. I don't have much, but that's my individual personal problem. Anyway, so a few more, 16, come on. Let's see if I can select all of them. No, it won't let me select all of them. Control V, okay, and then click Control V, enter, click Control V, enter, click Control V, enter, click Control V, enter, click Control V, enter. Okay, now for the time window end, let's say they all shut down around 5 or 6 p.m. Let's pick up 4 p.m. And I'm going to do the same thing for all of them. Oh, I forgot to hit enter. Okay, it seems F2 is also working. So F2, Control V, F2, Control V, enter, F2, Control V, enter, F2. I picked up too many schools. Okay. Maximum violation time. At this point, I don't have to specify, but you have the privilege. Then time window start is, let's say if somebody can't make time window start 1, then the driver should be able to arrive during the time window start 2 and between the end window 2. Okay. Similarly, you have the violation time. Violation time is like allowable. Like even if you get like 15 minutes outside the time window, then it is allowable. If you do not give it or it says 0, then it's like you have to be exactly within the times. Now, delivery quantity. Okay, this is the demand for the orders. Okay, this is the demand for, let's say, I'm going to put this together for all of them. How much did I put in there? Let me see. So for the routes, I put in capacity as 100. So roughly speaking, I think I can get away with 10. So delivery quantity, come on. Okay, 10. Now, in reality, you would be getting this from your data, from the real world data. So let's say if you're collecting the survey, let's say if you're in the business of delivering liquor or beer to the restaurant, then every restaurant will have a different demand. So that demand has to go there, not like random numbers the way, but I'm like the way I'm putting in. I'm putting in these numbers to show you how and what things or options are there and to get it to work. Okay. So these are different kind of delivery quantities that you can put in, which is overwhelming, or which may seem overwhelming, but these are the fancy things that otherwise people didn't know. So they are deliberately showing it off as to what you can do. Pickup quantity, I'm gonna say every time you deliver, let's say 10 carton. So I think in the route capacity, I said 10 cartons of strawberry or lettuce. So I am sorry, in terms of capacity, 100 cartons is the capacity for the truck. 10 is the delivery or the demand for each individual school district. And the pickup quantity is, let's say, 2 empty cartons. Okay, they need to pick up. Okay, so delivery and pickup is there. And so there are also multiple kinds of pickup, and route name. Route name would be if I deliberately want any school district, let's say, to be visited by a certain set of drivers. So for the route, right now I have how many? I have Tommy, right? Let me bring more driver. Well, I'll show this to you later. But let's say there are some school districts that only like to be visited by, let's say, Tommy or Sumadur Shakya, or Sumadur Shakya twin number 1, twin number 3, and so on. So that is what you can specify here as to which order needs to be delivered by which specific route as in which specific driver. Because at the end of the day, I've learned this in my experience of last 15, 16 years, that sometimes, even though mathematically it is optimal for certain restaurants to be delivered by, let's say, truck number 31, okay? But it so happens, because there is a good connection between the restaurant owner and the truck driver, to maintain that chemistry, we will have truck number other than 31 to deliver that particular restaurant. So that's where this thing is handy, okay? Now, sequence, you can also determine if this should be the first school to be delivered in the morning or third school and so on, in this particular case. And all of the rest, these values will be filled up by the software once it is done doing all the fancy calculations, okay? Now, in terms of depot, start time, I've already given end time, and I think that should work, unless it'll complain about time window start 2 and end 2. If it requires, then I'll give it. Otherwise, I don't think I need to. Let me come back here, routes, Tommy. I can, this looks different than the depot, so that I am able to identify. Okay, so at this time, before I start, I'm gonna hit save. And now I'm gonna say run. So let's say if it runs, does it or does it not complain? So now it's going to do the linear programming in the background, given everything that we have given in terms of parameters. So solve network and some orders cannot return due to violated constraints. Okay, so some constraints were violated. Okay, so partial solution generated. So let's see which. Oh, now it is letting me add more routes. Stupid. Pretty clever, huh? Okay, so now I'm going to say Tommy 2. I can continue to say Tommy 2. And then Motor City Hall. I'm going to show you what it violated. Yeah. So so in the meantime, let's look at what it generated. In terms of route, it already generated, it traveled about 8,475 meters. Okay, so let's say in terms of orders, I can tell you there are not sufficient number of trucks, okay, to deliver all the schools. How do I zoom out? What happened there? They took away the help, and I could take out this window so that we can see what's happening here in the background. Now, in terms of depots, is it complaining? No, it's not. In terms of orders, which one was visited, which one was not? Order of visit, there should be somewhere. Okay. Okay, let me come back to route. Oh, so it already filled out, polyline, good. Okay, I'm gonna say, what was it? No, I don't like Tommy anymore. I'm gonna say Jimmy 1. Jimmy 2. I'm gonna say Christina 1. You know, so then it's not just men driving the truck. Okay, Christina 2. Okay, and yeah, so I'm gonna, without changing anything, do I need to change anything? Oh, I do need to tell it starting and end depot. F2 control V, F2 control V, enter, F2 control V, enter. And it should end, where should it end? Control V, end. Oops, sorry. F2 control V, end, F2 control V, end, F2 control V, end. Starting time. Earlier start time. Start depot service time. So start depot service time, I can specify, I don't want to, let's see if it will solve only with this much. What is it complaining about? Okay. What now? Oh, come on. What is it specifically? Vehicle routing problem 2, invalid, all terminated, false. What are the messages? The route's time window fields have a mix of values with dates and without dates. Okay, so in the routes, okay, come on. I think I need to fill it out. Let's try to get it done with least amount of things. So Control C, copy this. It won't let me copy what? Control V. Okay, so let me type it out. Why is it not letting me type? Tommy 2. Why is it not letting me type? Let me type. Stupid. Copy. Oh, 12:30. Oh, that's why. Okay, I forgot to do this. That's why. Sorry, my bad. So the first driver was in 2022. Everybody else is like start of the age, you know, in 1899. That's what the error is. enter F2, V, enter F2, V, control V, enter F2, control V, enter F2, control V, enter. Okay, same thing for the latest start time. Why did I put this late start time? Well, the earliest start time is 8 a.m. This has to be, let's say, around 9 a.m. 9 a.m. So if they are to be late, they can be late by 1 hour, no more than that. Okay, and depot service time. I don't want to put this, but unless it forces me to put this. Okay, yeah, I think it should work without it. Capacity, every truck has capacity to bring in 100 cartons. 100. Oh, come on. Hit okay. Every truck has 100 capacity and cost per unit time. For now, I'm going to put this as 2. Later on, you can fix this as to be as realistic as possible, and depending on their wage per hour, and spread it over their shift time. So cost per unit distance, I want this to be reflective of the number of miles traveled and so on. Because cost per unit time is going to be dependent on that 35 miles an hour assumption, where the cost per unit distance is going to be more realistic. Over time, I don't want to tell this anything at this time. Maximum order count. So maximum number of schools that can be visited by any truck is 30 by default. Okay, so I'm going to change this to 10. So then more trucks are utilized. Otherwise it'll make the single truck go everywhere. Max order count is 10. Somehow I forgot to do all of these when I added the new drivers. So then I'll look at max total time, and once it is done solving. Okay. So save again, and then run. Let's see, what does it complain about now? So you got to slowly troubleshoot and fix. This is still easier than the linear programming. Some orders could not be routed due to violated constraint. Yeah, which is totally fine. Okay. Some orders could not be served, and then we'll see why. Okay, so only as of now, only one truck is going everywhere. It seems total order service time 4 minutes. So it visited 2 places. Yeah, see, order count 2. That's all it visited. And let's see. So only one truck is being utilized, and it was able to go to 2 schools. Okay. It went there 8:40. Let's see which 2 orders were served. Where is this? Arrive time. Let me sort this, see if this tells me anything. Yep, so these 2 were visited. Monterey Peninsula Unified and Pacific Grove. And let's see what time were they visited by. They were visited by the truck number 1, Tommy, in sequence of 2 and 3. From previous travel time, it took 19 minutes to get there based on 35 miles an hour. The second one, it went for 265. So why did it take that long to get to the second one? Okay, let me see what else is going on. Most likely it's going to be the opening time of the schools. Yeah, we need to open the schools a little earlier in the morning, which I deliberately did, so to see how the software is working. So they all open up 9 and 5. So let me open them up. Let's say school opens up at 6 o'clock. Um, no, let's stick with this. Oh, come on, it's not, why is it not doing it? And we open some at 7, some at 9. Okay. So let's say, let me see if how we are doing on the depot. What is the capacity for depot? Depot does not have its own capacity, so that's good. Only start time and end time, right? Yes. Yep. Okay, cool. Let's see if that changes anything. Cool. Now, what does it say? Some orders could not be routed due to violated constraints. So let's see what was violated this time. So now only one school, no, 4 schools. Yeah, 2 schools are being served. Still the same. So order count 2 were served. Maximum order count is 10. Cost per unit. Violation time. And so on. So good. It's working good the way it's supposed to. If there's a perfect match between all the drivers and all the schools, then you'll have this green thing coming out here. Okay. So let me think of a scenario wherein everybody would have something to deliver. So order, how much am I asking them to deliver? Let me see. So now that you can see, my sharing screen, yes. So finally, I relaxed the constraint to an extent wherein the truck can leave by 5 o'clock in the morning on 28th of April 2022 and come back in the next 1 month until 1 minute before the midnight. With that, it is now delivering. All the school districts are getting delivered. As you can see, I'm going to go straight from the beginning so then you can see all the columns the way they are working. These are the inputs I provided, 428 to 528 for time window. I kept everything same and simplest possible thing. Delivery quantity I adjusted to 10, and pickup quantity I think I made it to 0. Yeah, so I'll change it again back to 1 the way I was showing it to you earlier in the beginning of the video. And then all of these are being delivered by Tommy and Jimmy and Tommy 2. Yeah, so just 3 of the truck and 4 truck, Jimmy 1. Right, so no, so Jimmy 1, oh, come on. So in most of the trucks, on Jimmy 1 is getting used a lot, Tommy and Tommy 2 are getting used a lot. So only 3 people are getting used. And then in terms of sequence, doesn't give us much. And they're getting delivered on different days in next 1 month or so. So now what I'm going to do is, how many trucks do I have added here? Yeah, so see, only 3 trucks are getting used, right? So let me start from the left. These are the names, the description, start depot and end depot. I assigned them. Earlier start time, I gave them 28th of April to 28th of May. And I gave them the capacity of 100 units per truck that can be carried. And I told them that they can visit, one truck can visit maximum of 50 schools at a time, even though I only have 25 schools in total. So now I'm going to start to narrow down those constraints. So one truck visited 10 schools. The other truck also visited 10 schools. This truck, second one, visited 5 schools. Yeah. So if I want to allocate more number of trucks to be utilized, I can either say that max order count, one truck that they can, one truck can visit no more than, let's say, 5. Okay. So, but before I get there, I want to show you how it looks like. So depending on what your scenario is, whatever project you might be working on, whatever is of your interest to you, that's how you can change the criteria. Okay. So let me export these. So export. E1 order 1. Okay, and it's going to export it to the GDB. That is fine. Hit OK. I'm also going to export my depots so that I don't lose this if I need to go back for reference. Okay. Testing 1, depot 1. And then testing 1, route 1. Okay. Now, in order to make this somewhat more clear for my own self, I can go ahead and say change symbology. Where's symbology? I can go to symbology and I can say unique values. So every truck will have a different color or should have a different color. That's my plan. So let's see how it works out. Okay. So this value should be based off of it is, yeah, name. And it should be based on, yep, the name. Did it not change? Why did it not change? So let me see. Attribute table. Yep, name. Let me see. If I put in description. Okay, better. So why is it not refreshing? Okay, so it is refreshing. So the routes, you see they're not very different, but as you can see, they are being served by different people at the same time, right? So now let me change the values here for the routes. Okay, come on. So for the routes, I'm going to say a single truck can go to no more than 2 people. How many trucks do I have? I have 6. So 6, 380 for the 24. So I'm going to say 5 so that more trucks are utilized in my fleet. Instead of same truck going to all the schools on different days, the way it is right now. So, and let's say I'm going to save and then run. Let's see if it complains. But you get the idea, okay? Why did it not run? Did it run? I don't think it is running. Run. Complaints. Okay, no complaints. So now in terms of routes, more trucks are being utilized, except the last one, Christina 2. Okay, so with that, you can play around and better display whatever meets your conditions, be it let's say these all of these school districts being delivered by 6 truck on hand from Monterey City Hall as of now, given the parameters that I have as of now. Okay, again, I'm going to show it time window start for depot, and then it'll permanently close down on 28th of May. Those are the 2 things that I have to specify. In terms of order, I have the names of the point destinations. I have the service time in minutes here. This is what it corresponds to, minutes here. That's the unit here. The order can be fulfilled from 28th of April to 28th of May. This is the input I provide, or I set the parameter. Each of these things as of now are set for 10 units of demand. 10 units of demand. And let me also put in a pickup. So right now pickup is 0, but let me show you one more run, and I'll run it, okay, without forgetting. So 1. So now they're all 1. And everything else that you see here is what comes out after it is done solving. So route name, sequence, and so on. For every route, you can export a sequence in the shape file that later on, and this gives you cumulative distance. This is more helpful, and it also gives you the start time and end time, arrival time, depart time, and so on. At the same time, it gives you total distance to network in meters. Okay, that was the reason I wrote this as you know, so that, or let's say 52 meters, you'll have to convert. Why so? Because our projection system is in USGS equal area conic. Okay, then the next thing, routes. This is by truck. I did not specify the time. I only said start at the same point, and you have to the truck has to get back to the same point. So if that was to be the time, that was to be the condition, such that it can carry 100 units at a time, then cost per unit distance I specified as 1, and same thing for the time. Maximum number of places it can go to is 5. So then after I hit solve, then it tells me that a total of start time was everything. They went to 28th of April, coming back on 6th of May and 12th of May. So despite them being starting at 28th of April and coming back on 12th of May, why? It may sound stupid, and it is stupid. Why? Because I made assumption in the network that I made you download the file. The maximum speed I have assigned is 35 miles an hour. So in order to starting from Monterey City Hall, going to the farthest destination, that's why it was but complaining in the previous like few minutes ago in the video, where it was saying that it could not fulfill those orders. Why? Because it was taking too long. So now, as you can see, once I relaxed all the other constraints, now it is showing me that it started on 28th of April. It came back on 12th of May. That's how long it took. Okay, so that's why the time part is not, therefore does not become very reliable. But if you look at the total distance, this is still reliable. And the reason the time part is not reliable is because it would have taken me a week to create the network that I've given you right now, using the database from Bureau of Transportation Statistics, in order to create a more realistic network. So that network I would create if somebody was to pay me $40,000 an hour, or sorry, a month, at least, in order to build that kind of network. But I'm just out of the time and distance. Distance is accurate in this one. Time is not so much. Okay, that's the only thing. Now, since I also put in the pickup thing, let me solve this thing again. So everything comes back again. Okay. So if I was to look at the routes again and change the symbology here, such that symbol can I not change the thickness of these things? But anyways, okay, though, I mean, you can do those fancy things later on. Okay, so at this point in time, If you have to export the map, then you can export these with different names. Let's say if I want to change this route, I'll say this, make this a little bigger. Make this route again bigger, but a different color. So you can change the color to, let's say, this one. Same kind of symbol, but again, different color. Green. So, okay, that was not very useful. Again, I'm going to choose a thicker symbol with a different color. So different trucks, as you can see, this is the driver's route and their sequence of visiting the orders. Okay. Okay, I think that's about it. So use it as this as an example, as a template, wherein you have a set of, again, depot starting point. These depot can be different. And if you want to make them different, then you have to give them all the points. So let's say right now I only gave it 1 point. If you have more than 1 point, you can choose one of the rows as starting point and the other as a end point. Then you import the orders, you import the routes. Okay, cool. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye for now.